Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Bedford County Live. I'm David Thomas. Mr. Bo Gill sitting here next to me tonight. Good to have you folks in. We'll wait just a couple seconds here and let a few more people go in. But while we're doing that, I'd just like to thank our sponsors, Badcock Home Furniture and More. 761 Madison Street is kind enough to help sponsor the show, Bo.
That's the place to get all your furniture. That's the place to get a lot of home goods. Call Billy King up there and let them help you out. And while we're talking about our sponsors, we do need to mention the IDA Dance Academy, who's sponsoring this show, and that is at 301 Northside Park Drive. And if you need to dance lessons or to get you some dance on, then you know who to call, IDA Dance Academy. And may I mention once again is that I got this lovely business card holder, and I want to invite you guys to check out a home-owned, a home-ran business, and it's right next to Piggly Wiggly, and it is called the Random Goods General Store. They have airsoft guns. They have all kinds of like cool just items, and Gabrielle there makes these leather products here. This is a card holder. It's pretty awesome. So y'all need to check those out. That's homegrown business right there, and it is. We asked you to just go and check that. It's right beside Piggly Wiggly. They're great people there. So I just wanted to say hi to them and get y'all to check them out.
We got Johnson Spence in here. What's going on, guys?
What's
Teresa, Teresa Gill.
Yeah, I like our new paneling. We got new paneling in the background. Yeah. We've been working hard. I mean, we almost didn't make the showtime because the paneling in the back, it was tough. But hey, it looks good. We feel it's a more cozy at home atmosphere. So just get relaxed with us, chill out. We're good. We're going to hang out and we're going to walk each other through.
Brendan Taylor's here. Emily Gill's here.
Well, look at there.
And just so you'll know, we are having a giveaway. We're having 2 bars of soap given away at the large bars of soap from Duke Cannon.
Yes, we are.
You chat with us. You'll be entered into a drawing to win the soap. And I think Emily Bo needs to win the soap. All right.
Quit talking about that,
okay,
please.
All right.
That's between me and you.
And Gabe Funderburk, is that who is that?
That is a watcher, and he is tuned in, and we appreciate it.
Well, he says, "Hey, thanks for the shout out." So maybe he's attached.
They're attached to the Random Goods.
All right,
so,
all right.
I told him I would give him the shout out, so give him a shout out, and you're very much welcome. Thank y'all for what y'all do, and we just wish y'all the best of luck. Now everybody needs to go and visit them beside Piggly Wiggly there.
Yeah. All right. Duke Cannon is the good stuff. Absolutely. So.
Oh, it's really good. I mean, he smells so good since he's put on that soap. I just don't get it.
So he's chatted. Jonathan, you've chatted twice, but
so does he automatically win?
No, he gets entered into the drawing. We're going to give that away at 9:00 in the morning. But Bo, let's talk about what's coming up this coming week. We've got some cooler air coming in.
Finally. Last week I thought we was going to get some, but it was in the 90s. Today was hot. Guys, I'm excited. Football's going on in the swing of things. We got the playoffs coming up, MLB playoffs. We got a lot of things happening. Hey, it's time to get, like the soap says, it's time to get a campfire going. So let's get your campfire soap and get your campfire out. That's what I think of.
Well, we're talking like down into the low 40s, upper 30s. Saturday night, Sunday morning, so that's more in line with October weather. Might even get a little frost on the pumpkin. So
I think we will.
Just a heads up on that. We'll be keeping you up to date as the week goes on that weather, and I'm sure Shelbyville weather will also be doing that. Elijah Kirby will be
as always.
Okay, and some events coming up next week. Bo, we have a new horse show coming to town for the very first time. The Racking Horse Celebration, which has been for probably 40 or 45 years, been taking place in Decatur, Alabama. And Decatur tore down their Morgan County facility, and they needed a home, and Celebration opened up their arms to the Racking Horse folks, and they will be up here all next week having the Racking Horse version of their celebration.
What is a Racking Horse? Can you?
Well, it's basically a walking horse bred horse that doesn't walk. He racks instead.
It goes a lot faster.
Not necessarily, just a different gait.
Welcome. I'm glad to have that.
Yeah, Emily says if you haven't seen a racking horse, look it up. It's very cool, very cool to watch. A lot of them have a lot of the same way of going as a Tennessee walking horse, but then there's speed racking, there's style racking. They're exciting to watch. So get over to the celebration grounds and check that out. Also, we have the Bell Buckle Craft Fair coming up October 21st through the 22nd.
That's right. You got to love the Bell Buckle Craft Fair. It's been a staple of the community of Bell Buckle for years and years. All kinds of crafts, all kinds of very talented people. Go check that out on October the 21st and 22nd in Bell Buckle. And I say,
deer season has started, and that cooler weather will help out Jonathan Spence. And Mr. Producer agrees with you on that.
Mr. I was looking at that note, but I was quiet. Mr. Producer, he kind of fell on the ground. Are you okay, Mr. Producer? Okay, he's good now. Okay. We're back.
So that's coming up. When Mr. Producer, when does we start the first week of November or so for bow season? Is that right? Somewhere in that area?
And then you get muzzleloader again, and then you'll have your youth hunt, and then it's time for the rifle to come out.
Well,
they're running. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of deer. I saw a big buck yesterday. I mean, they're out there. Guys, whenever y'all start harvesting, let us know how it goes. We'll definitely talk hunting, too. We'll talk whatever you want to talk.
Deer started already, Jonathan said.
Already, yes, it is. And they're running hard.
Brendan Taylor Fright Night at the Fly Arts Center on Saturday, October 28th. Youth Hunt, October the 28th and 29th. Jonathan, thanks for that. And thanks, Brendan, for bringing up the Fright Night at the Fly Arts Center.
Also, something going on. We've got next Monday night, we've got the Republican Party meeting, 6:30. It's at 1302 North Main Street. Be there. We'd like to see you there. I'm chairman of the Republican Party here in Bedford County, and we do invite all to come and check us out.
But who else invited to that, Bob?
Everybody's invited. I don't know if Democrats will come, but we will take a little bit of everybody. David, it would be even something.
And where is this meeting?
That is at 1302 North Main Street. It's pretty much across from, it's on the corner of Butler Street and North Main Street. It's in the office building on the second floor in the conference room. We've got it all fixed up. We got chairs, we got tables. Come get comfy. Have you some coffee. We got a coffee maker in there. It's just a place to hang out. But we like to have the citizens there to be informed there too. We like to, what do we do in the Republican Party? Well, we try to get good Republican conservative candidates in the office. We try to educate the public, but we also take care of some business that's going on with the party. So we would invite you out. That's next Monday night at 6:30 at 1302 North Main Street.
Yeah.
Be there, be square.
Bo, I want to rehash something just a little bit and get on a soapbox for a minute.
Let's do it.
We talked last week about a drug problem. We talked about a homeless problem, and a lot of the folks chimed in and gave us their take on it. But I think that after this week, seeing and hearing some things that have happened locally, just here in the county and in the city, I think our problem is a little bit more severe than what we realize. And I don't know if people are paying attention, and you guys can chime in and let me know what, just specifically on the drug problems. I have seen several young men just walking up and down Madison Street, up and down North Main Street, carrying backpacks. And I look at these guys and I think, these people are not homeless. They're doing something else. And it's concerning that it's just in the open like that. Do you see this type of stuff, Bo?
I do see that. I don't know whether they're trafficking drugs or. I do see that a lot, but that way, if you say they're all like that, they might be. But I'd say, who knows what's going on with the backpacks? But I do know that to say that we don't have a drug problem would be to fool yourself. And I think that most people that would know that, even if you don't see it in the papers or anything or publicly, these families know it. These people that are touched by family members that are addicted or that are having these issues, these crises. I mean, it's a real deal, and it's something that does exist here. And it's something that exists in every county in America, and I think that that's a deeper problem with more of a society issue, and then a border issue where you have drugs pouring over the border that really ruins families. But I do think that we have one here, and I do think that we ought to address it and always see something, say something.
Yeah. Okay, so who do you say it to?
Well, you say it to an officer. You hope you call a police officer, and you hope and you the citizen, you report it, and you tell that officer what's going on and what you think's going on. Now, it may not be nothing, or it might be, but it's up to that officer to do this.
Emily brings up a good point. I can't remember, do we have a drug task force? Well, now we don't in the county, but I think the state in some areas have drug task force in certain districts.
We've got a 17th judicial, but it covers 3 counties, and they're very short-handed.
Very limited.
They do some busts on the monthly reports, but it's, it's far less. Back in the day, the task force, they weren't playing around. They came and they would hammer you. Nowadays, they probably don't have the manpower. Not to say that they don't want to, but
Jonathan Spence brings up that we've had homeless, most of them by choice, dump their trash around our business, and then they find needles in their dumpster. That's concerning to find loose needles. I have found them in our parking lot at our business.
Yes, and business owners need to call the police too, because you can have those criminally removed, and then if they come back, they'll be taking jail each time with criminal trespass. And there's a way to do that on all of them. Now, I don't know how we fix the, it's up to families and other, but it's not up to the government to fix, the homeless problem. We have to meet the symptoms, but homeless in general, the bigger picture is much deeper issue.
Brendan Taylor brings this up. It's so bad that some Shelbyville-based TikTok users record drug users tweaking out on public streets all the time.
Really?
If anyone thinks it's not that big of an issue, they're willfully burying their head in the sand. Let's talk about burying your head in the sand for a second. There is a degree of apathy that runs so deep in our county and in our city that it's troubling to me that so many people choose to bury their head in the sand and act unconcerned, and don't want to even talk about it, almost to a point of denial.
It is. It's it's something that we've hit on for a long time. Apathy, voter turnout. There are issues that people just think that their vote or that their whatever they say doesn't count. I mean, it's about time for everybody to get off their rear end and attend things and do things and be a part of something, because if we don't, then our liberty gets taken away. Now, we are an old country, right? And sometimes a mature old country, it creates an apathetic feeling because there's no more, fighting for what's yours and getting what's for really standing what you believe in. And here we are, I think, at this point in time where apathy just runs rampant, where people are too comfortable at home. They don't care, or they think that because it doesn't affect them, they don't need to get involved. Well, I would counter that argument to say you need to get involved in every issue that's going on, no matter what it is, and you need to at least ask questions. And that is simple as that. If you don't understand something, ask questions, or if something don't make sense, ask questions. But
let's talk about apathy just a minute. What does it mean to be apathetic? What does apathy actually mean? It means basically a lack of concern, a don't care mentality to the point of hopelessness. It's almost like a depression even. Yeah. And if you look at the root word of apathy, patheos, I think is the word. If you go back to the original way back and see where that came from, it's so close to the word pathetic.
Yeah, apathetic. It comes from that. Yeah.
Those two words go hand in hand. So apathy, I see it.
Apathy is just not being concerned, not just kind of checking out on things, and just saying whatever's there, that's them, go ahead. But no, it was intended and built for us to have the input, for the people to create representatives.
The results of apathy is what we see happening in Bedford County and Shelbyville right now. So
what do we do to
I'm concerned about my kids and grandkids, specifically my grandkids that are all under the age of 8 years old. They're 4, 5, 6 in that age group. It looked like 20 years from now, if this apathy continues and we don't turn the tide on it.
And I think a lot of these children are really in the 12 to 14, 15, 16 range. They've seen a lot of this. They've grown up and they're seeing exactly what it is. So I'm actually hopeful for that age group. It's a mess that's kept on going, and here we are. Now the national the national Republican Party, the Democrat Party, all the national politics is just so strong with just corruption all the time. It's at a state level, it's at a county level too. But if you just sit around and talk about it on the couch, you're not getting anything done. So what do? You have to attend the boring meetings, because those boring meetings, a lot of stuff may get done, and that's when you have to be and asking questions. And if you feel like you can make a difference and run for something, then get up and run.
Well, I think to look at the politics, the local politics, and the national politics, they all affect us. That's one part of the apathy that we see is getting engaged in that, but also just trying to be a better person, trying to just not settle for mediocrity and try to be the very best.
Pride.
There is a level of that situation going on in Bedford County where you see people, what the heck?
Yes,
I don't care anymore.
There is.
And Chuck Heflin comes in. In my opinion, voter apathy is a direct result of years of do-nothing politicians and elected people campaigning one way and voting entirely different, which has led to the feeling of why I bother. And he hits the nail on the head politically, but it even goes deeper than that here, I believe. Not just politics, but just in life in general. And we have a lot of positive things in Bedford County. We have so many great features. And one of the things I like about Bedford County is that it's peace and quiet out in the country. And then we have the city of Shelbyville where a little more activity takes place, but it's laid back to where there should be a comfort level. But I'm not comfortable with this much apathy taking place.
I'm not either. And so, we sit here and talk about it, but like we mentioned earlier, how do we make this a practical practice to get along and to go forward? Well, the apathy starts at home. It starts in your county. Don't look at what's going on nationally. If that affects you, see what's going on locally. And apathy, like I said, with the mature nation where we are now, we've just been so used to these politicians. What we need now is not a politician. We need real folks getting involved, getting in these positions to represent, because they're the ones that are really seeing how the Constitution was written, how it's supposed to be. The politicians they're just lifelong politicians. And what we need now, and I think what I'm seeing more, is like the Trump type, jumping out of the private sector like it was intended with the founding fathers, and then serving your time and then going home.
Right.
And that's what way it was intended. Instead, you got them going in and coming out millionaires, and they're just robbing. They're in the pocketbooks of the taxpayers. So it's got to stop. And why not start right here? I mean, we have to do it. We have to do this.
All right. Let's see. We've got a request here. Andy Gibson's talking about. We talked about this last week, Andy, the Dollar General stores. Why are we getting so many? I'll tell you why. Because we have the demographics that support. And this goes hand in hand with what we're talking about here.
Yes.
Not to ridicule Dollar General. They're going to put stores where they can make money. And if we've got 12 or 13 in Bedford County.
When you go to Williamson County, you might see a few, but they're far and few between, and they're a lot more bigger. Williamson County is different than Bedford County. I'm proud of Bedford County, but David's exactly right. It is, what we've got because of, what we've got. Yeah.
Brandy Smith, I'm looking for any way I can try and make a positive impact in my community. I wish we could get more people involved in positive community events and build a better environment for our youth. Amen to that.
That's right, Brandy. She does things just, like with the fair. I know she's involved with things like that. And that's a way to get involved. It's just any type of way you can get involved in it. Serving, and it's taking yourself out of it and looking towards others. That's what a representative should be. You know how we've hit on this before about leaders. Oh, the leaders. Now, they're not leaders. They're representatives. They are representing your voice, and it's on you, the constituent, to let the representative know how you feel.
Yeah, and get out there and vote. We have 29,000 registered voters, almost
29,000 registered voters. Let's give or take, right? So how many of those do we have on a good voter turnout, David? 3 to 5?
Anywhere from 4 to 8,000, depending on what's going on. And it's pretty much the good old boy network that elects all of our leaders. That's
it's people that are connected. They're connected, maybe through family, indirectly or directly, and those are the ones. So the rest, what are they doing? They're sitting at home. They're thinking they don't care. Well, you care, and you need to.
Charlie Harper. The city is not a city anymore. Most of it's run down and nasty. That comes to the apathy, okay? That comes to the not caring. that comes to just the feeling of why bother.
Yeah, there are some areas, but I'll have to say, on our north end, they're really taking care of the north end there, so it's really the shining spot. But that's right, Charlie. There are
it's like whack-a-mole. You got that popping up, and you got Madison Street deteriorating.
It is. Well, we got another Dollar General coming. Don't forget about that.
Don't even bring it up.
Joe Paul's got the one. He's the one that's, if he's watching tonight, he's got stock, so I better quit on the Dollar General.
All right. Emily brings this up on a similar note. There are a lot of houses in our town that are junked up. I know we can't force pride, but a lot of rental homes, from what I've heard, get cited to clean up the yard, and they don't show up to the court. Shouldn't the landlords be held accountable?
Well, if it's your property, you're ultimately accountable. But if you're making the mess and you're the renter, then you need to clean it up. I don't think we should, as a renter, look for people to clean up their stuff. But there are certain requirements and certain things that a landlord should take care of. And if they're being served subpoenas and not showing up to court, then God help them.
Okay, the majority of our community leaders make appearances during election years.
Oh, yeah.
But only a few support community events year round. Yeah, that's typical, I think, of most politicians these days, and it has been for a long time. And Bo, I want to change gears just a second and talk about our last county commission study session, or was it the finance committee? The finance committee. We dodged another wheel tax.
That's two in 1 year.
Back in April, it took place, and it took place again last month.
Though this one not as far, but
right, it was going to be a wheel tax in lieu of a property tax decrease somewhat. In the end, what happens when a new tax is voted in? It never goes away typically, and it's always adjusted by. It just keeps going up. Okay, so we dodged a bullet there, and it was kind of interesting to watch. I watched that video several times, and I've put together a little video of where this took place. And in this video, it talks about the withdrawal of that proposal from Drew Hooker, which is District 1 Commissioner, and also Adam Thomas, District 6 Commissioner. They withdrew it, and then Mayor Graham announced that withdrawal, and then after that, District 5 Commissioner Linda Yockey made some comments. Now, in these comments, I got totally confused because there were two polar opposite statements made within seconds of each other, and I'd like to play this video for you guys. I want you to watch this, and I want you to give us your take on the comments made. Now, there is a pause, and it says a few moments later. This is 1 minute 16 seconds. I promise you, it's entertaining and worth watching. This is our county commission in action. Hold on just a second, and here we go.
Been there last month. So, Commissioner Adam Thomas, and Commissioner Hooker requested to totally withdraw the wheel tax.
Can I make a couple of comments?
I guess you can.
I didn't get to last time.
Oh, that's right, because they deferred it.
I'm really pleased that this has been withdrawn, and I was hoping one or both of them would be here tonight, because I just want to make sure, because it was said, maybe not out loud in the meeting, but around that the Finance Committee had wanted a wheel tax back a few months ago, and I just want to make sure that what this committee tried to do at that time was to allow the commissioners to make the decision on whether there would be a wheel tax put forth or not. And the last thing I want to say is, why would this body ever even think about asking the commissioners to make the decision on a wheel tax? And the probability of a wheel tax ever passing in this county is probably zilch to none.
Okay, guys, what you just heard was Commissioner Yockey, and this was the Budget and Finance Committee meeting. She was making a statement that we just asked the commission, or we brought a proposal up in April to allow the commission to make set a wheel tax and bypass or circumvent the public, an election or referendum on it, which is the typical way you go about doing that. And then in the same couple of sentences went around and said, why on earth would this body ever ask the commission to do set a wheel tax. And then she made the statement that we probably will never vote a wheel tax in by referendum. And I think that's absolutely true. But what's puzzling to me is how we got caught up in that circle. And I was so confused when that was over with, Bo. Yeah. What did you think about that?
Well, I thought the same thing because, that's what the finance committee did in April, was to try to make that decision and move it along to the commission. Of course, it did get voted down in the commission, and it was an act. It was maybe that's what she was meaning, because when they've described it to me, they say that it wasn't a wheel tax but an act. Well, basically it was a license to be able to have a wheel tax.
Well, it was basically going to allow the commission.
Yes.
And then she turned around and said, well, why on earth would this body ever ask the commission to set a wheel tax?
I mean, it was talking out of both sides of the mouth, but maybe she misspoke, but I doubt it, because, she means what she says usually. So I don't know. I just hate that a wheel tax has came up twice in the same year. If we need it, we need it, but then we found the money. It's up to the commissioners and to us to let our representatives know how we feel about that issue.
Right.
And even if it gets voted down, like it always has, then you need to still put it up for the people. But that's neither here nor there. I'm about tired of hearing the word wheel tax right now, but I'm sure it'll come back again.
It came back up, and
it'll come back again.
It'll be circling back around. What do you guys think about this whole situation?
And by the way, Rhonda, that new Dollar General will be going out on Madison Street. I saw that question come up. That's out Madison Street, close to War Trace Pike. They've already got it going up. I mean, it's looking like a Dollar General.
Well, that's what it is, isn't it?
If it looks like it, it is it.
All right, let's see. Emily Gill wants to bring up another subject which ties in with our county. We don't have any ambulances on the south side of town, and that's true.
There's no. Yeah, I mean, our emergency management system, I know that they keep, whenever one's out of whack, they always have another one lined up. They seem to keep it going, but it is a little concerning that on that very heart of south end going out 231, there is not a headquarters there. I'm sure that they staff it in a way to where maybe they're out and about in that area. But I've never thought about that issue. I'm glad you brought that up. There are several areas, and I think our last newest one is in Bell Buckle. That was the last one maybe they built out that way. But hey, when you need them, you call them. So it's good to have them close.
All right, Keith Davis brings this up. Let's put a little focus on the beautification of our beautiful town. It's so run down in so many places, and that gets back to what we were talking about earlier, Keith. The apathy, the settling for mediocrity.
Well, I'll tell you one place that does look good is the square right now. They really made it look good, and I'll just give credit where it's due, but it looks great there, and I'm proud of our square. But there are areas in town that there's not much. There's a lot of personal apathy, I guess you'd say, with your stuff, your junk, and with the having a little pride. Mowing your grass, picking up, having things looking pretty. It's a lot of hard work, but why not?
Yeah, it's so run down in so many places. He says absolutely true, and quite honestly, property owners can't afford to do a whole lot. I've talked to several business people that would love to spend, a lot of money on their property to beautify it. And basically, if they can keep it mowed and pick up the trash, it's a step in the right direction, which doesn't cost a whole lot.
We're just trying to keep them from falling down.
Yeah, exactly. And Donna Smith, she goes back to the wheel tax situation. It was certainly she and Tony talking about Commissioner Yockey proposing a private act, as she told me, that the county needs another source of revenue in addition to property taxes. And that was back in April, but we got through that without a property tax increase a wheel tax. So we found the money somewhere. It'd be good to know how much money we really had. That'd be a good question to ask.
Yeah, I hope we're
I don't think we can look at the budget every year and know how much money we have.
It's hard too. I know that it'll be coming up, and right now there's time to put your input on the budget. I mean, the budget is a growing document throughout the year, so keep hammering. That's where you get involved. That's where you reach out to your representatives.
Okay, Brandy Smith, there's a house so run down bad on my street, and we have called codes. The house is abandoned. The grass is taller than the house. Cat breeding ground. House falling in. No one will do anything. Is this in the city, Brandy? I assume it is. It sounds like it.
I would still call the codes. I'd still stay on them. And if, because if it's, especially, I would maybe say if there's a safety issue there, if there's something going on, keep calling them, because there is somebody, it's probably a bank that owns it now, but there is an owner and somebody will get it.
Dollar General Joe is on.
Dollar G, he is sitting on his pile of gold of Dollar General stock. Boy, I tell you what.
Okay, Brandy Smith said, yes, it's on Shelby View Drive. Well,
yes, I've seen that house. I know exactly the house you're talking about. It's been like that for years. And
there are so many codes issue in this city that it would take 20 people in the codes department to track down all the nonsense.
And they are already, besides just, they're already overworked with all the new construction. They have no time really to go out to see all the issues with all these new constructions.
One of the biggest dangers right now, I know the beautification is an issue, but there's dangers in some neighborhoods with cars just parked in the street.
Yes.
And you can't even get through.
No, especially some of these newer subdivisions too.
Yeah, the ones that with the driveway, as long as it's tabled.
A fire truck would have an issue coming through, a bus. It's scary. And some of these houses have little kids, and guess what? Whenever they grow up, they're going to be driving, and their car's going to be out there. So,
okay, let's see. Meme Queen.
Well, thank y'all for watching. Appreciate all the comments tonight for sure.
Here's another comment. I've lived here for 2 years now and have seen that the town puts in a lot of work to clean up right before the horse show.
Oh, yeah.
So many buildings got painted just in time for that. What about the rest of the year?
The roads get paved. I mean, I'm telling you, the horse show's coming in.
That's a good point. That people want to clean up when we got company coming.
Yeah, I usually do that at home too. I mean,
and a lot of this is just like throwing stuff under the bed and throwing it in the closet.
Yeah, don't open the closet. The bowling ball will hit you.
Well, we have a lot of work to do as private citizens.
Yes.
And we do have a codes issue that I don't even know. If I were in charge, I wouldn't even know where to begin.
And that can be a volatile situation. A codes enforcer coming and saying you got to clean this up. Well, this is my house. Why don't I have to clean it up?
Well,
that's where pride comes in. That's where you need to have a little pride.
It all goes back to that word, Bo, that we brought up earlier. Apathy.
Say it again. Apathy.
It's not good.
Apathetic. Apathetic. That's apathetic.
Okay.
Y'all learned something you didn't know.
Donna Smith, strength in numbers. Absolutely.
Always strength in numbers.
And it's not up to the government to keep the town clean, guys. They can only do so much. All of our services that we have, the trash pickup, and we have the city and the county workers that keep things trimmed. They have their hands full.
And bravo to them. They do all that they can do.
It takes people to take pride in their own property, in their own city.
That's exactly right.
Okay, here's Brendan Taylor. This process house is emblematic of the neglect experienced by many properties, residential and commercial, in the east, south, and west sides of town. The money makers are focused only on the strip from the intersection of North Main and Madison to Walmart, what some people even call Shelbyville's Golden Mile.
The Golden Mile. I've heard the Golden Gate Bridge, but I've never heard the Shelbyville.
Lynn Dameron Miller, Madison Street makes me sad, and there are several houses in the city that look terrible. What happened to being proud of where you live?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Madison Street was the spot. You had the Walmart out there. That was the strip. That's where you rode on Friday and Saturday nights, and you met with your friend. It's dead now.
Yeah, and then going back to what Donna Smith just said, strength in numbers.
Strength in numbers. I like it.
If you want to make change, you have to bind together in a large group of people and say, look, we take pride in this city and this county, and we're going to step up. And if it needs to be a change in our elected representatives, we make that change. If it means we're going to get together and we're going to help clean the town up and clean the county up, hey, what about just not throwing trash out the window? I was behind a car the other day, headed home, and a guy threw a bucket of chicken out on the highway.
Did you pick it up?
I drove past it, and when I turned around and looked back, somebody else had already picked it up going the other way. But that's a good start, picking up the chicken that people throw out.
That's right.
But every day in my front yard on Highway 130, there are cans, litter, And I don't think it's people just visiting that's doing it.
No, it's and I've been guilty of it. I'll be the first to raise my hand and say I have been guilty of it. But I have tried to cut that out of my life because I do take pride in it. And I've been reprimanded as a young man and a young kid when I did that. And I do the same thing to my daughter, and she just throws it in my truck. So my truck is just a mess. But hey, the truck takes, I can clean that out and move it. It's okay to throw it in your floorboard.
Yep. Gary Johnson, too many rentals? ?
There's
He's
a lot of
asking the
rentals.
question. Okay, here's my take on rentals. Rentals wouldn't exist if people didn't rent.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
And again, our demographics is a rental place, and you know what? You can't fault the people that own these rental properties for trying to make money. This is America. This is the market working. But if there are some responsible landlords and there are some irresponsible ones.
Well,
but yes, to answer your question or your statement, yes, I don't know.
I think he's asking that question.
Well, yes, there is.
Yeah.
There should be. I would encourage everyone for home ownership.
But here's the thing about it. The same amount of money that you would be paying for rent, you could probably go and buy the house.
You could.
You have to have a stable financial condition to do that these days, and interest rates are going up to the point that some people, they just, their first home, maybe they rent for a while,
Yes.
or maybe they're just in a financial position where they've been locked into a cheaper rent for a long period of time.
Yes.
But we are definitely a rental town.
We're a
That's
rental
what we
town.
are.
I mean, we've got a lot of new subdivisions, a lot of places. But yes, you can own a home for less than you can rent one.
Okay, Amanda. Well, look at the rundown hotels and strip malls on Madison Street. Prime opportunities there for businesses to come in, but you've got to have people that are willing to invest and buy those properties
That's right.
and turn a business in, and we do not have the demographics to do that here at this time.
Not at this time, but north of town we do have the Hampton Inn coming. So
Yeah.
I mean that's one. But yes, I agree. These same hotels that you're talking about have been like that for years and years. And whenever we missed the boat through the 80s and 90s when Madison Street was the spot, it is no longer that area. So you're probably going to continue to see that.
Yeah, I think that everybody would agree that we've got a lot of work to do.
We do, but hey, like we hit on at the first, how do we do that work? Do we sit and just wait for the work to be done, or even if it's something that's out of our realm, or do we go get involved and do we really take initiative to get up and go and be a part of something? Yeah, you can do it online too, but go in person. Look them in the eye.
Brandy Smith brings out something. The river bridge is terrible at night. People stumbling out into the middle of the road and falling.
Yes,
It's scary. I mean, it's hard to see folks at night, and I'm afraid to go just anywhere around at night because people are on Madison Street. There's some dark areas, and people just walk right out in front of you. It is a dangerous.
It's
you have to be
dangerous.
careful when you're out.
Yes, it's dangerous. Be careful for those, but I wish we could just have them removed from that place, in a lawful manner, because that is public property, and it's a shame that it's been overran. The river has with homelessness. It is an absolute shame because that is a jewel we have down there at the River Bridge Dam, and I wouldn't go there.
We're going to have to clean up real soon because we're about to get a $13 million overlook built.
That's right.
Right over where you can see right down at the bridge.
Is the thinking when we build that, then they're going to go away? No, that ain't going to happen. They're going to still be there, and then they'll run away. People wanting to come there. So we have to get stronger on enforcing them and removing them in a lawful way.
I'm gonna tell a little story that happened to me this week.
Tell me a story.
I had an individual contact me on Messenger. On Facebook Messenger, asking about more affordable housing, Section 8 housing particularly, in Bedford County and specifically Shelbyville, and they wanted to know who to contact. I guess city council or whoever, I don't know, somebody in the government. She was wanting to talk to somebody in the government, and basically I told her, our local government does not have anything to do with Section 8. That's a federal situation. Now, we can mandate it. We can restrict it. We can put a moratorium on. Some cities have put moratoriums on Section 8 housing because it's just overwhelming.
Yes. I think we have our fair share.
The conversation went on, and I just asked her, I said, well, who is your city council? And she told me it was Chad Graham. Okay, Mayor Graham, you're not a city councilman. We know that. And I don't mean to drag you into this conversation, but that took place. And I tried to find out where she lived and help her find out who her city council was. But that is another sign of just not knowing what's going on.
That's right.
Okay. If you live in the city, you need to know who your city council person is. You need to know who your mayor is, which, by the way, is Randy Carroll.
And you need to know who your county mayor is, and that's
if you live in the city, you also live in the county. I don't know how many times, Bo, we have tried to do educating on this.
We have hammered and hammered. We got to do some more hammering.
Well, we just need to keep on keeping on, and everybody out there try to educate people on who their county commissioner is if they live in the county. If they're in the city, they're in the county. If they live in the city, they have a county commissioner and they have a city councilman.
Yes.
That's so hard for some people to understand. Bedford County encompasses the city of Shelbyville.
You're in Bedford County.
So you've got District 6, 7, 8, and 9.
That are
in the city limits. Okay, your commissioners represent you. Your councilmen represent you.
You got double the representation.
Right, 1 through 5 in the county is in the county outside of the city area, except for maybe one little part of District 5. I'm not sure. I have to look at the maps. But you need to know who your commissioner is. You need to have his phone number on speed dial if necessary. And when you have concerns, that's what they're there for.
That's what
they represent you. So please, find out. By the way,
yes,
Chad Graham is the county mayor.
He is the county mayor. That's right. He's not a city councilman, right. But you led him in the right direction.
If you do not know who your city council person is or who your county commissioner is, please send us a message on Shelbyville Now's website at admin@shelbyvillenow.com. Give us your address. We will tell you who your representative is.
We will be your reporter on who is representing you.
Okay. Amanda says, can y'all share the district map and who the commissioners are on the website? On Shelbyville Now's website, if you go to politics and click on district maps, the district maps are there.
They are
and
there.
All the district commissioners are listed as well as the city councilman.
Hey, and by the way, you can look at obituaries and the police report. And did we mention that it's free?
Yeah, no subscription required. You just go to it anytime. It's free. And guys, we need to wind up tonight, but we're going to have this continued conversation about how we can make a difference in Bedford County, because that's what this is about. It's about you guys, the experiences that you have, and we see some more comments coming in. Brandy Smith, unfortunately, a lot of low-income housing is overrun with drug use and illegal activities. I'm a firm believer in helping people who are down on luck and low income. Trust me, I've been there myself, but there are too many handouts for people, and that's another topic.
I'll say just one off of that. That is exactly right. Temporary public housing should be used as a temporary help on the crutch. We all go through times. We all go through a hard time. But when you see generations of folks living in this public housing, that is an issue. And we understand that the elderly, that there are some young that just need to help on their feet, but it should be temporary. You should want your own, and to get out of that and let it be, and then remove it. There's a lot of people that really need it that are on the list and that are not able to get it because people are taking advantage of the system. Just my little soapbox.
Well,
there.
I think tonight we can sum up one point. Apathy is not good.
Apathy is not good. It's pathetic, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. All right. And guys, thanks for watching tonight. If you have chatted with us, you're going to be entered in a drawing to win 2 bars of Buchanan soap. And we'll have that drawing at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Be watching for a live stream, and we'll have that. Also, we want to thank our sponsors tonight, Badcock Home Furniture and More at 761 Madison Street, and Inspire Dance Academy, 103 Northside Park Drive. Those guys are getting started and cranked up with one of the premier dance places, instruction and studio with some top quality teachers. Go pay them a visit if you would like to get involved in that. And also at Badcock, they do financing out there. So if you need some help, they'll get you a low payment set up.
Yes, they will. And just one more on the Random Goods General Store. Go get some of your cool they're a hometown place. They've got a little bit of everything right beside Piggly Wiggly. Go check them out.
Okay, and Emily Gill to leave. Well,
okay. got to say? Let's talk some more. What y'all got to say? Come on, let's talk.
Let's see, Lynn, Roller, Britton, go see Billy at Badcock.
Go see Billy.
He
You gotta
is a
love
great
Billy.
guy. Okay. How can companies sponsor Shelbyville Now? You can contact us at admin@shelbyvillenow.com, and we will get you hooked up in some affordable advertising. We have all types of options.
Yep.
You could be a sponsor of a show, or you can
It
just
starts at $20. You can get in $20, right?
you can get in a business listing at $20 on our business directory. Yes. But guys, thanks again for watching. We appreciate the sponsors. Guys, next week we'll be here at the same time, same place. We'll have prizes to give away. We'll continue our conversation. And guys, we appreciate your input. Some really good comments tonight, and we appreciate it. And be thinking about, just look around this week. Voice your concerns next week.
This is your show. Remember.
We want you guys to dominate the conversation. Thanks a lot. Bring a friend next week, and we'll see you then.
Y'all have a good night.